It was just a sunset photo, but when he zoomed in, he noticed something terrifying. Thomas adjusted his camera one last time before snapping the picture. He wanted to capture the sky filled with hues of orange, pink, and purple. But as the light faded away, he knew this photo wouldn't turn out how he wanted. Yet, there was something about the sky that made him want to try anyway. That night, Thomas uploaded the picture to his social media account. It had thousands of likes within minutes. Everyone loved the vibrant colors and asked where he took the picture. Thomas simply replied, "At the park near my house." But what he didn't show them was the tiny figure falling from the sky in the photo. A few days passed and Thomas still couldn't get over the photo. He thought it was fascinating. If he hadn't zoomed in, he would have never seen that small figure. Who was the person and why were they falling? What was even more disturbing was that he felt like he recognized the person, but couldn't quite place it. As the night went on, Thomas tossed and turned in his bed. He tried to go back to sleep, but his mind kept thinking about the figure in the photo. Then he had a dream. In this dream, Thomas was walking through the same park he took the photo at, but the sky was the same color as the picture, dark blue with a hint of twilight. As he looked up, he saw himself floating in the air. He reached out his arms as if trying to grab onto something, but his hands slipped through the clouds. Thomas woke up in a cold sweat. Was this a premonition or just a strange dream? He didn't know. But either way, he needed answers. So the next day, Thomas went back to the park. He stood in the exact spot he took the photo and looked up at the sky. All he saw were birds flying overhead. The sun was shining brightly, making it almost painful to look directly at it. But then something caught his eye. A single cloud floated in the sky, shaped exactly like the one in the picture. And if he squinted, he could have sworn he saw a tiny figure inside of it. But when he focused his eyes again, the figure disappeared. Determined to get to the bottom of this, Thomas decided to zoom in on the photo even more. This time he noticed something peculiar. In the photo, the figure had a backpack on, but now it was hard to see because the straps were unzipped. It was then Thomas realized that the person was carrying something, an object so large it was covering their entire body. But when he zoomed in on the object, his blood ran cold. He saw a pair of legs, or what used to be a pair of legs. They were pale and slender like matchsticks. He quickly looked away, feeling sick to his stomach. Was this some kind of joke? Who would do such a thing and why? When he zoomed back out, he noticed something else. The person wasn't falling straight down. They were plummeting towards the ground at an unnatural angle. And suddenly it hit him. The person wasn't falling from the sky. They were being thrown from the sky. But who would throw someone from the sky? As if to answer his question, the ground beneath his feet rumbled. Thomas jumped and looked around wildly. But when he turned back to the sky, he saw a sight that made him gasp. In the distance, he saw a large, dark shape moving across the sky, leaving a trail of smoke in its wake. It looked like a giant bird, but not one he had ever seen before. It had sharp, pointy wings that seemed to tear through the clouds. Thomas stood there mesmerized as the creature flew closer. It let out a loud screech that echoed through the park. People started running for cover, screaming in terror, but Thomas couldn't move. He felt like he was frozen in place. Then he saw it. On the back of the creature, he saw the person from the photo. They were lying face down, their body blocking the view of the object they were carrying. But Thomas could feel his eyes drawn to it. He wanted to look away, but he couldn't. It was like something was controlling his mind. As the creature got closer, he saw the person make a strange gesture. They raised their right hand in the air and pointed directly at Thomas. Their fingers were long and thin, like the legs he had seen in the photo. Thomas felt a chill run down his spine. Was this creature here to take him away? To do what? He didn't know, but he was about to find out. The creature landed in the middle of the park, kicking up dirt and debris everywhere. People screamed and ran away, but Thomas stayed rooted to the spot. He watched as the creature approached him, taking slow, deliberate steps. Each step made the ground shake. He could feel the vibrations in his bones. Then the creature stopped in front of him and spoke. Its voice was deep and raspy, like gravel grinding together. "You took a picture of me," it said. Thomas could only nod. He was too scared to speak. "Why did you take a picture of me?" The creature asked again. Its eyes were glowing red in the darkness. I don't know, Thomas stammered. I just saw you in the sky, and I thought it would be a good photo. The creature let out a screech, then reached out its long, sharp claws. You should not have taken a picture of me, it hissed. Now I am going to destroy you. Thomas screamed and tried to run, but it was too late. The creature swiped its claw across his chest, leaving deep, bloody scratches. He fell to the ground, gasping in pain. The creature leaned closer, its hot, fetid breath on his face. This is what happens when you take pictures of things you are not supposed to see, it whispered. Now you will join me in the sky. Thomas struggled to breathe as the creature lifted him up. He looked back at the photo in his hand. It was the last thing he remembered before everything went black. The next morning, the police were called to the park. They found the camera, the phone, and the torn backpack, but no trace of Thomas or the creature could be found. The only clue they had was the picture. When they zoomed in, they saw a pair of lifeless eyes staring back at them. Days turned into weeks, but the case went nowhere. It was as if Thomas had vanished into thin air. But what they didn't know was that he was very much alive, or at least he was aware of something. In the photo, he was falling, but now he was falling forever. 1 year later, the same sunset was happening. The sky was painted with shades of orange, pink, and purple. A photographer stood at the same spot as Thomas and snapped a picture. When he zoomed in, he saw a familiar sight, a small figure falling from the sky. But this time, the figure was no longer blurry. He could see every detail. It was a man in a torn backpack, his arms outstretched as if trying to fly, and the man had a terrified expression on his face. But there was something else in the photo that made the photographer's blood run cold. It was the man's hand, or what used to be the man's hand. It was pale and slender like a matchstick, and the hand was reaching out towards him, begging for help. But there was no sound, no scream, no cry for mercy. There was nothing but silence, and the silence was deafening.